Live from Pro Players Stadium in Miami, Florida, it's the National Football League on CBS. Week 3. Tonight's game features the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Dolphins. And these have been trying times for the state of Florida. Last night, Hurricane Gene rolled in at 10 p.m., really kicked up her heels by 2 a.m., causing power damage, serious flooding, as well as roof damage. But the weather right now, 79 degrees at kickoff time, and the wind southwest at 10 miles per hour. Hi, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson, along with my partner, Brent Jones. It's been a turbulent season already for the Miami Dolphins, and we're only in week number 3. Dating back to their last preseason game against New Orleans, 3 of their last 4 games, Brent, have been disrupted by hurricanes.
And Gus, it takes a ton of focus and attention to detail to play in the National Football League. One thing you hear from coaches all the time, we want to limit the distractions. Well, there's no way to limit hurricanes. Clearly, this Dolphins staff and the coaches and players as well have been affected thus far this season.
Both these teams need a win, so Ben Roethlisberger, a rookie, gets a chance to lead, as well as A.J. Feely for the Dolphins. Great field conditions right now, but we're expecting intermittent rainstorms every hour until 3 a.m. Pittsburgh and Miami ready to get it going. Welcome back. Gus Johnson along with Brent Jones, and the Miami Dolphins have started off 0-2 for the first time since 1988. And BJ, this organization has just been hit in the gut time and time again.
And Gus, it all started with the retirement of Ricky Williams right before training camp. Of course, David Boston blew out his knee. Larry Chester, the same thing last week. One of the keys in this game tonight will be the play of A.J. Feely. He's thrown a couple of touchdowns already this year, but he's also thrown a couple of picks for interceptions that have been returned for touchdowns, so he's going to need to limit his mistakes.
All right, Pittsburgh is 1-1 coming off a 30-13 loss at Baltimore last week. They also lost their quarterback. Tommy Maddox is out for a minimum of 6 weeks with ligament damage in his right throwing elbow. Therefore, a young man gets a chance to step onto the field. Ben Roethlisberger makes his first career start.
Yeah, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, that's all hogwash. This was the best quarterback coming out of college last year. 6'5", 240 pounds. Strong arm, moves well in the pocket, and one of the greatest assets for a rookie quarterback, his running game. Look for a lot of Deuce Staley this evening.
So coming up, it's the Steelers and the Dolphins for the first time since '88, and they're coming.
ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Bill Cowher, in his 13th year as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he has the NFL's longest active coaching tenure with one team. 1-1 record for the Steelers coming into this game. On the other sideline, Dave Wannstedt, 52 years old, his team 0-2. And Wannstedt, 10-6 last year, spent 6 years as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. Dolphins have won the toss, and they will receive the football. Wes Welker is back deep. He was picked up after being released by San Diego after week 1, and Jeff Reed will send it away. This is the 17th matchup between the Dolphins and the Steelers, with Miami leading the series 9-7. Their last meeting, September 20th of 1998. Miami won the game 21-0. One of only 4 times that the Steelers have been shut out under Bill Cowher. Gus Johnson, Brent Jones with you from Pro Player. Steelers, Dolphins, a night game. And here we go. Reed sends it away. And it's fielded by Welker at the 12. Welker with the seam. And the young man out of Texas Tech gets it up to the 35-yard line, a 22-yard return. Sean Morey makes the tackle. A.J. Feely last week versus Cincinnati, 21 of 39, 218, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, but they're concerned with not only his interceptions, but interceptions that have been returned for scores. Brian Simmons picked one off last week, returned it 50 yards for a touchdown for the Bengals. First down and 10 at the 35.
False start. Number 77. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Looks like Damian McIntosh, the starting left tackle, shuffling his feet.
Gus getting his first start after off-season ankle surgery and anxious to go right off the snap. Jump the gun.
First down and 15 at the 30 for A.J. Feely and the Dolphins. Play action on first down, and they throw this one to Donald Lee. And Lee lost the ball. It's loose. Pittsburgh's on it, and the Steelers have it at the 30. James Ferrier recovers the football. And the ball is slippery. It's very wet on the field. Donald Lee just lost it.
And a nice little naked bootleg. A.J. Feely puts it right in Donald Lee's hands. You got to cover up. Got two hands on the ball and just took a shot right on top of the ball. And I think that was
Ricardo Coakley making the tackle.
And I think Chris Hope was the one that put his helmet right on top of that.
So Pittsburgh starts first down and 10 at the 30-yard line of Miami. Out of the offset eye. Play action. Roethlisberger with time. Scrambles out of the pocket. Steps up. Lets it go. Picked off! Holy Toledo! Patrick Surtain, and what a start from South Florida.
Ben Roethlisberger just looks like he's throwing the ball away toward the sideline, and Surtain comes back to the ball, makes the interception. And Bill Cowher's looking a little bit like Dave Wanstead did just a couple seconds ago. What more can go wrong?
So the Dolphins catch a break. First down and 10 now at their own 17. Lamar Gordon is a single setback, and they keep it on the ground. Gordon gets back to the line of scrimmage. Aaron Smith with first contact. Offensively for Miami, Damian McIntosh starts in front of Wade Smith. McIntosh has been slowed by an ankle injury. He makes his first start as a Dolphin. Backs and receivers. Marty Booker comes over from the Chicago Bears. He supplanted Darius Thompson, and he is the big play wide receiver. Second down and 9 at the 18. Randy McMichael in motion. Play action, Feely underneath. That ball is caught, and it's Donald Lee holding on this time. A gain of 9. The Steelers held Jamal Lewis to only 62 yards rushing and quarterback Kyle Bowler to only 98 yards passing last week. They used the 3-4. Hampton is the Pro Bowler in the middle. Linebackers Larry Foote replaces Kendrell Bell, who's out with a groin injury. And in the secondary, Chad Scott's the veteran. Townsend on the other corner. Hope and Palomalu are the safeties. First and 10 at the 28-yard line. Here's Gordon over the right side. And he gets to the 30, maybe the 31. Aaron Smith grabbing him, but a flag on the play.
And guys, I think we might get a face mask call against the Steelers.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 67. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's Kimo von Oelhoffen, the former Cincinnati Bengal, called for the face mask.
And when you get a 15-yarder, that means you grab and you don't let go. You're hanging on for dear life. And you can see Bill Cowher on who.
So, Brent, as you look at this game, what should we pay attention to early on?
Well, I think both teams clearly want to limit their mistakes. That's out the window. And so both teams have talked about keeping the ball on the ground, be a little bit more conservative. You've seen the Dolphins go to the quick pass early as well.
And there's Gordon running the football. Not a lot of running room for Miami. And the Dolphins come into this game in dead last in rushing. 32nd in the NFL, averaging 45 yards per game. So that tells you that the loss of Ricky Williams has really crippled this running game.
Very much so, Gus. And you lose Ricky Williams and you lose David Boston. And any coach around the league that would lose a starting running back, starting wide receiver would be in a heap of trouble. But this Dolphins offensive line, Gus, at this point has been much maligned as well. They're really anxious to try to open up some holes this evening.
Here's Feely. Looking down the sideline for Chambers. Picked off. Deshae Townsend playing center field. And that is the second turnover of the first quarter. intended for Chambers. 12:16 to go in the first. No score from Miami.
And Gus, A.J. Feely's going to get credit for the interception, but watch this route outside by Chris Chambers. He's just jogging. This is a BS route in the NFL. This makes me sick. You either go full speed and get up and get the ball. You got single coverage. You got a lot of talent. Don't jog and go 3 quarters and let the guy intercept the ball. That was a horrible effort.
Here's Deuce Staley running over the right side, and Staley gets to the 26-yard line. David Bowens with the hit after a 6-yard pickup. Ben Roethlisberger, 11th overall pick out of Miami of Ohio. He's the first-round quarterback drafted by the Steelers since Mark Malone in 1980. Let's take a look at the offensive line. Faneca is the Pro Bowler. Smith, Hardings, Vincent, and Ross. Backs and receivers. Deuce Staley comes over after starting only 4 games with the Philadelphia Eagles last year. 2nd and 4 at the 26. Here's Staley, and Staley picks up a couple. Zach Thomas making first contact. Defensively for Miami, the Dolphins sacked Carson Palmer 5 times and forced the Bengals to punt on 10 possessions last week. But they're without Tim Bowens and Larry Chester. They're 2 defensive tackles, so Jeff Skanina and Brian Robinson will have to play the tackle positions and protect Zach Thomas. In the secondary, Surtain, Madison, 2 of the best in pro football. 3rd and 4 at the 26. Steelers need to go to the 30-yard line. Underneath, Antoine Randall. Did he hang on? Yes, he did. First down, a gain of 6.
And Gus, great pressure throw right there by Ben Roethlisberger.
We got to keep an eye on him.
Absolutely, we got to keep an eye on the rookie. Clearly, you're going to see him make some mistakes. A little miscommunication right there. An interception. Comes back in the game. See the pump fake right. Comes back, hits Hines Ward for a touchdown. There's going to be ups and downs with this young man. But he's got a lot of talent. I love his makeup. He's got confidence. He's got the strong arm. He's got some elusiveness as well back there in the backfield.
Here's Roethlisberger stepping up. Looks down the field. He's got Plexico Burress. Oh! It's a catch at the 25. Burress had to hold up in mid-stride. A 42-yard reception.
And watch the play action. The safeties jump up. And look at that touch by Ben Roethlisberger. And Plexico Burress does a great job. Looked like he tripped on that infield dirt. Just gets a tough step right there. You see him slide out. Great concentration by the big man. Looking the ball in, hanging on. Big-time catch.
And Burress running by Antoine Edwards and Sam Madison for the gain of 42. 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Here's Staley, second man through the hole. And Deuce picks up a couple.
Boy, I guess it says a lot about Bill Cowher and what he thinks of Ben Roethlisberger to come back with a play action, deep ball down the field, especially after that interception in the first drive. Deuce Staley, we know, is going to get a lot of carries tonight. But Bill Cowher, a lot of confidence in his rookie quarterback, and what a great move to get Plexico Burress back involved in this offense. That's one of the things that's been missing in Pittsburgh.
2 tight ends in the game now for the Steelers. 2nd down and 8. Here's Staley skipping through the hole, and he stood up at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard and a half on the play. Gang tackle by the Dolphins.
And Gus, one of the things that Jason Taylor from the Dolphins told us is we've got to limit the Steelers on 1st and 2nd down. If we can put them in 3rd and long, that's a huge advantage to us. We can disguise some defenses. We can get pressure on Roethlisberger. And this is a situation thus far, the first time this game, where the Steelers are facing 3rd and long. So let's see what this Dolphin defense comes up with.
So Staley out of the game. Veron Haynes checks in 3rd and 7 at the 22. They need to go to the 15 for a first down. Roethlisberger out of the gun. Scrambles out of the pocket. Throwing on the run across his body, incomplete. Intended for tight end Jeremy Tooman. Good defense, though, by the Dolphins secondary. Will Poole covering a rookie out of USC.
And one of the things you're going to see is Roethlisberger out of the pocket. That's a great move by the Steelers. You see how strong his arm is to throw it back across the formation. Just a little bit behind Tooman, who might have got grabbed. He was looking for the pass interference call. Looks to me like there was contact before the ball got there. Dolphins got away with one.
Jeff Reed, 1 of 2 on the season. He's made a 42-yarder and missed a 48-yarder. This one from 40 yards away. It's down, up, and good. So the Steelers get on the board first. 40-yard field goal for Jeff Reed. 8:09 to go in the first quarter. Pittsburgh up 3-0.
ESPN Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. Kia Motors, Kia, make every mile count. And Old Spice, stay in the zone.
Steelers go on an 8-play, 58-yard drive, holding the ball for 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Jeff Reed with a 40-yard field goal. And turnovers have been a problem. 3 turnovers already, and we still have 8:09 to go in the first quarter. Wes Welker, Brian Gilmore back deep as Reed tees it up at the 30. And this will be Welker from his own goal line. Welker at the 20. And he gets to the 25, a 26-yard return. Russell Stuyvesant with the tackle for the Steelers. So here comes A.J. Feely, looking to get something going for Miami. Pittsburgh with the 3-0 lead here in the first quarter. 8:03 to go. And Miami with the football on a beautiful night here in South Florida. First down and 10 now at the 26-yard line for the Dolphins, and a flag on the play.
False start. Number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's Damian McIntosh's second penalty of the first quarter.
Now, I know he's anxious, but it's going a little bit too far. You just got to have some composure out there. Got to listen in the huddle, know the count. You don't want to put your team in a bigger hole than it's already in.
First down and 15 at the 21. Feely dancing, steps up, throws on the run, picked off. Troy Polamalu with the interception. A.J. Feely, his second interception. Polamalu at the 43-yard line, and Feely is a little woozy. A flag on the play in the backfield.
I thought I saw a signal for illegal forward pass.
Yeah, A.J. Feely may have been over the line of scrimmage when he released the football.
And that ball clearly sailed on him. You see going over the head of Chris Chambers. But a personal foul as well.
Illegal forward pass. Number 7 was beyond the line of scrimmage. There is no roughing the passer foul. He was a runner beyond the lines. Interception, Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Boy, these are the times where you've got to make wise decisions. Not only did he go over the line, but that ball sailed on him. That's a dangerous throw. 2 safeties right there. A.J. Feely going to have to do a little bit better job being conservative with that ball.
Second interception of the first quarter for A.J. Feely. And now the Steelers have terrific field position at the Miami 43. There's Jay Fiedler, who was the starter but yanked after the first half in week 1 against Tennessee. He may start warming up pretty soon. Deuce Staley with a big opening, and Staley gets to the 32-yard line. Marlon Greenwood and Sammy Knight make the tackle.
Boy, Gus, and this is where I thought the Steelers were going to really attack, where Larry Chester's out the left side. Let's watch guard Alan Faneca. Look at the push down inside, creates this hole. Push your guy down inside. You got a seal backside right here by the tight end. That creates a great gaping hole for the Steelers to run inside.
10-yard pickup for Staley. 2 tight ends, Tuman and Remersma in the game for the Steelers. First and 10 at the 33. Staley And he's bottled up and taken down. Nicely done by the Miami defense. Now Monday on an all-new Late Show, Dave welcomes Queen Latifah plus Jack Hanna's Animals. And Tuesday, don't miss Center of the Universe star John Goodman. Dave's all new all this week on CBS. And when we talked to Dave Wannstedt at his office on Friday, you got the feeling that he was going to have to make a change if AJ struggled, meaning if he started throwing interceptions.
Well, I think one of the things that has resonated throughout the week is be smart with the football, and we haven't necessarily seen that out of the quarterback thus far tonight. Here's Staley, and he is taken down immediately. Brian Robinson starting for Larry Chester. Makes the tackle. He's the right defensive tackle. Chester out for the season after a season-ending knee injury. And clearly Brian Robinson going to have some time tonight because a lot of pressure is going to come at him. Left side of the Steelers line is their strength with Marvell Smith at tackle. Alan Faneca, the best guard in the National Football League. And this was a big blow for the Dolphins defense. Larry Chester out for the season, ACL. And he just gets right over his knee there, and it's tough to even watch. Tim Bowen's out as well with a disc problem in his back, and the interior of the Dolphins struggling.
Roethlisberger steps up in the pocket, pumps it, throws it up. Antoine Randall broken up at the last moment by Sam Addison.
Well, and Gus, I like Ben Roethlisberger. Watch the awareness. He's got some agility. We talked about that early. See how he eludes the rush, and he knows where he is. Did you put a little bit more on that? Randall had a break down the sideline over Sam Madison. But it's nice that Roethlisberger knew where he was on the field, didn't go past the line of scrimmage. It was worth the effort.
Chris Gardocki standing at the 49, left-footed punter. Pops this one into the air, and it takes a bounce and will be downed inside the 5. Haynes downing the football. A 29-yard punt. And here comes A.J. Feely once again. Welcome back. 5:20 to go in the first quarter. 3-0. Pittsburgh on top of the Dolphins. 4 turnovers already, 3 by the Dolphins, 1 by the Steelers. First down and 10, Miami at their own 5. Here's Leonard Henry running the football now with some running room. And he gets over the 10, up to the 11, a 7-yard pickup. And let's keep an eye, Brent, on Randy McMichael.
Absolutely, Gus. The young tight end is starting to make an impact in this league. We've been waiting a couple years for the Dolphins to start throwing him the ball more. This year it seems like they're going to find him. Of course, young quarterback A.J. Feely, that's your best security blanket, your big tight end. You got to get him the ball.
McMichael leads the Dolphins in receiving with 14 catches. Here's Leonard Henry, flag on the play. And this is a holding penalty called against the Dolphins.
You guys, we're starting to see Leonard Henry. And I know that Lamar Gordon in pregame had 102 temperature.
Holding, number 69, offense. Half the distance to the goal, 2nd down.
Taylor Whitley, the right guard.
And there it is right there. Get those arms outside the framework. And we're talking about Lamar Gordon have 102 temperature, swollen glands, and he was on IVs prior to the game.
So Leonard Henry gets an opportunity. Here he is running the football, and there is no room in the middle of the line. Larry Foote, first man to him, making the tackle. Now let's go to Bristol and my old friend Steve Levy.
All right, Gus, thanks very much. Hey, following a Martin Gramatica 36-yard field goal, Tampa had a 3-0 lead. Then Tyrone Wheatley ripped off this 60-yard run. Rich Gannon was injured on the drive that ended in a Sebastian Janikowski 23-yard field goal.
All right, we were in Oakland last week, and looks like the Raiders have something brewing, especially with some of those young receivers.
Absolutely, if they can get that running game going, it could be some positive times.
And Feely overthrowing Leonard Henry. And that brings up 4th down and 10.
And you know what a tough start to the season this has been for the Miami Dolphins. And Leonard Henry, nothing against Leonard Henry, but counting Ricky Williams, you're down to your 5th halfback. I mean, that's a tough start to the season. I mean, Leonard Henry, he's been around for a year or two, but still.
Matt Turk punting out of the back of his own end zone. This one off the side of his foot. Takes a bounce and is downed at midfield, a 45-yard punt. And look at the rain coming down here in Miami. According to the forecast, we should expect intermittent rainstorms every hour until 3 a.m.
So much for field conditions.
No doubt about it.
They had the field covered prior to the game today, and I was walking out there in the pregame, and the field was in great condition. I was so impressed with the grounds crew, and that's all out the window at this point.
1st down and 10 for the Steelers. Staley and Kreider in the backfield. 2nd man through to Staley. And Staley picks up about 3.5. Monday on CBS. I think we need to suit those guys up.
There's nothing better than when you're a kid than being out at night in the rain. The older you get, though, the less fun that becomes.
2nd and 6 at the 46. 3-receiver package in now for Pittsburgh. Staley the single setback. Quick strike. This one caught. Hines Ward, who's tripped up and taken down by Will Poole. No gain on the play.
Boy, we've been talking about both offenses, but how about this Miami Dolphins defense? 3 turnovers already by their offense, and they've only given up 3 points. And guys like Will Poole in the secondary just add to the legend of this Dolphins defense. And clearly some frustration on that side of the ball about always having to play with their backs up against the wall.
Defense ranks 2nd in the NFL, number 1 against the pass. 3rd and 6 at the 46. Roethlisberger lost one. Hines Ward wide open, flag down. Oh, he turtles. Hines Ward looking like Allen Johnson. A 24-yard gain as he hurdled Antoine Edwards.
Open. Number 23 defense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
Patrick Surtain called for the hold, but watch this play.
And we've been fans of Hines Ward for a long time. We've seen him grow up in this league. Finds a way to get open. Watch this hurdle. It wasn't even close. Didn't hesitate. It's like he's running the 110, baby.
Hurdled over Jimmy Wyrick. And it's really coming down now as the Steelers line up in the infield at shortstop. 1st and 10 at the 22. Staley, nowhere to run. Dario Romero with the tackle, and it's a loss of 2 for the Steelers.
And Gus, you saw Ben Roethlisberger almost slip down, just taking the snap from center. And at this point, I think it's a little dangerous to even try to throw the ball. It's coming down in sheets. Clearly, the Dolphins haven't had much success doing it. Ben Roethlisberger's made a couple of nice throws, but you can see that ball starting to slip and slide out there. There's no way you can keep it dry at this point.
Deuce Staley, 9 carries, 20 yards. 2nd and 12 at the 24. Here's Deuce. And Deuce goes down again. Zach Thomas with 1st contact. Marlon Greenwood cleared him up. A loss of 2. Now, you think it's raining now. Let's take a look back. Freak weather conditions are nothing new between the Dolphins and Steelers. In their 1989 meeting known as the Water Game, Pittsburgh traveled to Miami for one of the wettest games in history. The Steelers dominated en route to a 34-14 victory. And the game was highlighted by Dwayne Woodruff's fumble return for a touchdown. I don't know if that one is going to top this one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's looking pretty wet out there, but I think by the 3rd, 4th quarter, we might be able to rival that.
Miami calls a timeout, their first, with 57 seconds remaining in the quarter.
And there's Dave Wannstedt, of course, relying heavily on his defense, which has been the case now around here for Miami for about the last 5 or 6 years. And I think some of the veterans on this defense are looking around saying, we need some points on the board. You know, quite honestly, this is a playoff-type defense. You just need to be decent on the offensive side of the ball, and this team can go some places, especially in this new NFL.
Third down at 14 at the 26. Baron Haynes checking in. Standing right next to Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger steps up, spinning, breaks the tackle, and dumps it out of bounds.
There's no intentional grounding. The quarterback was out of the pocket. Fourth down.
Another nice job by the Miami defense. So Jeff Reed comes on to kick, and now this is going to be a difficult kick. It's awfully slippery,
yeah, and
in the infield.
And especially on the infield, and you're going to watch Reed's plant foot. It's all about where his left foot lands. If he can stick his foot in the ground, he's got a much better opportunity to make this field goal.
He's already been good from 40 yards. His longest this year, 42. They get it down, and this one is shanked. He pushed it to the right, and once again, the heroic Miami Dolphins defense holds. So turnovers have been a problem. Donald Lee with the fumble, recovered by the Steelers. Roethlisberger intercepted by Patrick Surtain. A.J. Feely intercepted by Deshae Townsend because Chambers didn't run a good route. Then Feely gets picked up by Troy Polamalu. Turnover after turnover. First and 10 at the 34. Lamar Gordon with running room, and he is clobbered. Chris Hope sticks him after a gain of 7.
And that's a nice shot by Chris Hope. You see the hole open up, and there's Lamar Gordon, and takes it. When you're put on your back, man, that is delivering a blow. You just don't want to get up and celebrate after a 8-yard gain.
And Lamar Gordon is down. We told you that it was reported that he was suffering from a 102-degree fever in the locker room prior to the game. Hooked up to an IV. Now back onto the field is Leonard Henry, the second-year man out of East Carolina.
Boy, and what a shot that was by Hope. And most likely that left shoulder. That's it. Helmet right on. Boy, and Lamar Gordon, heck of a job just hanging onto that ball, because that is a blow. When a defender changes your direction that violently, that is a shot.
That left shoulder is tender as Gordon is helped off the field.
And we talked about all the turnovers early in the game, Gus, and this weather, I'm thinking that's only the beginning.
Second down and 3 at the 41. 15 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Here's Henry with running room, and he gets to the 46. Joey Porter with the tackle after a gain of 6. And that is the end of the first quarter with the score Pittsburgh 3, Miami 0. We'll return to Pro Player after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Lamar Gordon, moments ago, carted off the field. And I don't know if it's his wrist or his shoulder, but he took a hell of a lick from Chris Hope.
Well, can the Dolphins get a break?
First down at the 47, and Leonard Henry running. The Dolphins have picked up a rushing first down on this drive, and last week against the Bengals, they were held without a rushing first down for only the 5th time in club history.
Yeah, that wasn't the prettiest game by the offensive line, and clearly 5 new starters. They're trying to develop some chemistry. I'm going to give them this. In these weather conditions, they've opened up a few more holes tonight. They're coming off a little bit more in sync, but not there.
Here's Henry, kept his balance. Henry, and A.J. Feely even came in there. and made a block. Casey Hampton getting in the backfield.
Boy, and when you play against a 3-4, you better block the nose tackle, and Casey Hampton is a load. Watch 98, slips the center's block, and he's back in the backfield. We're just talking about the Dolphins offensive line coming off in sync, and Leonard Henry, heck of a job just to make it back and get some positive yardage. And Gus, just in case you're wondering, Doug Eastlick, the starting fullback, is the 6th string tailback if something happens to Leonard Henry.
3rd down and 7 at midfield. Feely thrown behind, almost picked off again. Intended for Randy McMichael, but Deshae Townsend was there.
And Gus, it's just dangerous to throw in this type of weather. And A.J. Feely is putting his arms out like what? And that's just behind the tight end. You have the tight end one-on-one in the flat. You got to put it up high over his shoulder so either he catches it or nobody catches it.
Matt Turk at the 35. Antoine Randall back deep, and Turk gets off a beautiful punt. Gets into the end zone, though. 51-yard punt, but only a 31-yard net. And the Steelers will have it at the 20. 13:31 to go, second quarter. 3-zip Pittsburgh.
ESPN Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. Wrangler, makers of Wrangler 5-Star, relaxed fit premium quality denim. Michelob Ultra, lose the carbs, not the taste. And State Farm, providing insurance and financial services.
Welcome back. Pittsburgh with a 3-0 lead. Gus Johnson, Brent Jones from Pro Players Stadium. Steelers with the football at the 20, and now the bus is in the game. Jerome Bettis didn't have a carry last week against Cincinnati. Rather against Baltimore, excuse me, the bus. And this is a false start against the Steelers.
And not a bad idea to put the bus in there. Clearly a downhill runner, brings a load, brings all that experience, and been such a great running back over the years. Hasn't got as much carries the start of this season, but in this type of weather, the bus has some mud tires on him, you know.
Bettis in his 12th season out of Notre Dame. 1st and 15 at the 15. Kreider and Bettis in the eye. Here's Bettis. And Jerome Bettis picks up 2. Stopped on the play by Marlon Greenwood. Hurricane Gene rolled into town last night. Really got going at about 2 a.m. Stopped at about 8 a.m. this morning, and things were kind of calm and cool. It's been raining off and on for the entire day. But since the end of the first quarter, it hasn't let up. 2nd and 12 at the 18. Roethlisberger, broken play, gets outside, flag, and a hold maybe against Hines Ward.
Yeah, they're going to either get him for holding or an illegal block in the back because he spun around and looked like he was pushing the defender.
And that is Hines Ward.
And it wasn't for lack of effort. Hines Ward seeing his quarterback out there. You got to do everything you can to protect your quarterback. Running the boot action. You see he's got good position right there. Then he loses Sam Addison. Gosh, I don't know, Gus. It's kind of a weak call right there.
There's Hines Ward last week. 6 catches, 151 yards, and a touchdown against the Ravens. His 2nd highest single game total of his career at 168 in 2002 against Tennessee.
And Gus, one of the things with this weather now, it's too risky to throw the ball unless you're off boot action or unless you're just throwing it softly to the running back. Too tough to throw it downfield with inexperienced quarterbacks.
And here's Haynes. Deron Haynes gets outside. Oh, and what a great run by Haynes. Lowers his shoulder and delivers a lick. Picks up 8 yards on the play.
And not only are we getting rain, Gus, but it's starting to get a little windy out there. And you see the blocking backside, Jeremy Tooman doing a solid job, Marvell Smith. And one of the things that you try to think of right now, as a player on the field, whether you're playing offense or defense, it's keep a wide base, keep your feet up, because if you get overextended one way or another, you're going down for sure.
3rd down and 10 at the 20. Haynes remains in the game. Steelers need to go to their own 30-yard line for 1st down. Draw play, Haynes breaks it back with room, dives, and I believe he has the 1st down. Remember, Tim Bowens and Larry Chester are out of the lineup.
Boy, and their Steelers are starting to get a little bit more push up front. You see the blocking schemes right here, and look at that hole for Haynes. And I think he's going to be awful close, end up getting the 1st down. And as a Miami Dolphin, you've got to think in this weather, there's no way they're going to throw it, even out of shotgun. That draw shouldn't have caught him as off guard as it did.
1st down and 10 at the 30. Bettis back into the game. What a sight here in Miami. Bettis to the 31, maybe the 32. Jeff Scanino with the tackle. Thursday on CBS, critics call the new Survivor a triumph. Don't miss a minute of Survivor Vanuatu, Thursday at 8/7 Central on CBS.
Vanuatu doesn't have anything on Pro Player Stadium right
I don't
now.
think so. The same kind of tropical weather.
Whoa.
So Bettis remaining in the game, 2nd and 8 at the 32. Remersma in motion. Here's the bus. Nowhere to go. He'll lose 2 yards on the play. Jay Williams shot through the line and comes up with the play.
Well, let's watch Jay Williams, and I think Zach Thomas as well, getting up in through the line. There's Jay Williams making the blow. And it was all Jay Williams, and the penetration right there is all you need, because if the bus doesn't have a full head of steam, he doesn't have the same lateral cutting ability that he had younger in his career.
Ron Haynes back in the game, 3rd and 10 at the 30. They need to go to the 40 for 1st down. Haynes. And Haynes goes down at what looks like the 35. 5-yard pickup. David Bowens with the tackle.
And you can see the Steelers are just playing field position right now, and that is smart football. You just don't want to take risk with a young quarterback. Clearly the Dolphins should take that into account, and I think we're just going to have a little bit of a running slugfest here until this rain stops.
Now keep your eye on Wes Welker, number 83, the return man. He set all kinds of NCAA records as a punt returner at Texas Tech. Here's Welker backpedaling from the 21. And Welker gets to the 30, a 44-yard punt and a 10-yard return. James Harrison makes the tackle. Football weather in Miami, 3-0 Pittsburgh. The infield here at Pro Player Stadium looks like a shallow pond now. The rain has let up. Good news for the Dolphins, who have the football on grass at the 31.
Yeah, and also good news that the rain stopped for the Dolphins, because the officials do a good job with the towels keeping the ball dry. Feely might be able to throw it.
Henry spinning, gets to the 35. Palomado makes a tackle after a gain of 4. It's not too late to play fantasy football. Leagues are still forming. Just click on fantasy football at CBSSportsline.com.
Played Boomer Esiason today, and I've scored the most points ever going down in defeat.
You lost?
Boomer had Peyton Manning, and if anybody's listening and can play defensive back, you can call the Green Bay Packers, because they're horrendous.
2nd and 6 at the 35. Henry again shedding tacklers and gets to the 41. Chris Hope brings him down, a 6-yard pickup.
And Gus said this a couple series ago. This offensive line for the Miami Dolphins is clearly getting some push. You see the double team right there, cut back hole inside. Leonard Henry finding the hole. And it's a positive thing to see if you're a Miami Dolphin fan, that this offensive line, it looks like, is starting to develop some type of chemistry. Only 45 yards rushing for the Dolphins the first 2 games of the season combined, which is, that's a scary number. But you're starting to see, and these are a group of new guys working together for the first time. You know, not counting training camp, when you go live bullets in the regular season, it takes 3, 4, 5 games to kind of get that chemistry, get in sync, and start working together, getting all the line calls, and you see it from the pond right there.
And Damian McIntosh, the left tackle, comes over as an unrestricted free agent from San Diego. Geno James, the left guard, came over as an unrestricted free agent from Carolina. And John Sinclair from St. Louis, the right tackle, as an unrestricted free agent. 3rd down and 1. Feely leans forward. And Feely has the first down. The second rushing first down of the night for Miami.
And Gus, that's how you know right there. When you have a quarterback sneak and your quarterback just gets on the center of the tail of the center and gets a push a yard downfield, you know your line is starting to get some push. Positive sign for this Dolphins group.
Seth McKinney, the center.
You see where the white jerseys are pushing the black jerseys. That's what you want. That's what the Miami fans haven't seen thus far this year.
First down and 10. Leonard Henry running again. And Henry gained 1. And take a look, what a difference a year makes, Brent.
Geez, 9 new starters, Gus. Randy McMichael, Chris Chambers, the only returning starters. And you want to know something really strange? And maybe it's not that strange. 4 of the Dolphins linemen from last year aren't in the league anymore. So that probably tells you something. Maybe a change needed to be made. And it takes a while in this league to develop chemistry, communication. Clearly, it's getting better. Much better than the first 2 weeks of the season.
2nd down and 9. Feely finds McMichael, the big fella running down the sideline, and he runs right into the water down the sideline. Troy Polamalu pushes him out of bounds after a gain of 14, but a penalty flag on the play.
Now Randy McMichael, clearly one of the emotional leaders of this Miami Dolphins offense. I hope that wasn't him getting called for the celebration. And I don't see, they might have picked up that flag, Gus.
Looks like they did. They picked up the flag. So the Dolphins have it right now at the Steeler 43. Feely rolling and incomplete. Intended for Marty Booker. And an update on Lamar Gordon. He has a shoulder injury, a left shoulder injury. The starting tailback for the Dolphins. His return is doubtful.
You guys, I'd mentioned the Green Bay Packers needing some DBs. If you're a running back out there, please call the Miami Dolphins. Because they need some healthy ones.
2nd and 10 at the 42. Henry, the lone setback. McMichael in motion. Here's Henry, breaks it back, taken down with one hand by Aaron Smith.
When so much of the Steelers defense, when you play the 3-4, those down linemen, Casey Hampton, Kimo von Oelhoffen, and Aaron Smith, you see the one-hand grab by Aaron Smith. You talk about some strength. Clearly got some penetration there. And the athletes on the Steeler defense are at linebacker. Those 3 down linemen have to hold off the offensive linemen, protect their linebackers, but we've seen some plays from those down 3 as well over the years.
3rd down and 11 at the 43. And Henry running over the right side, and the fans in attendance not happy with the play selection as James Ferrier, Joey Porter, and Aaron Smith all combined on the tackle for a loss of 1.
Yeah, and clearly we talked about the rain stopping in a drier ball. I thought they'd at least give us a little play action on 3rd down. The Dolphins in Steeler territory just content to run it into the middle of the line and play in the field position game. Right now you've got to have your punter get it inside the 15.
Turk sends it back to Antoine Randall. Takes a bounce. And what a special teams play. Beautifully done by Jeremiah Bell, downing it inside the 10-yard line. 39-yard punt by Matt Turk.
Now I know only I
Only 3-0, but it's been a great game already. And we have 4:31 to go in the first half. Gus Johnson along with Brent Jones, Pittsburgh and Miami, their first meeting since 1998. First down and 10. Steelers at their own 6. Kreider and Haynes in the offset eye. Here's Haynes, breaks it back. At third base, nowhere to go. Now for an update, let's go to Steve Levy in Bristol.
All right, Gus, with scoring being what it is, you'd think there was a hurricane blowing through Oakland. It's only John Gruden's Bucks, Brad Johnson to Bill Schrader. That's good for 54 yards and yet another field goal. All field goals tonight so far in Oakland.
All right, Steve, so Brad Johnson under a lot of pressure. Many feel in Tampa that Chris Sims should be given an opportunity to run that team.
In fact, our own Dan Marino on the NFL Today said exactly that.
Here's Haynes, straight ahead, gets to the 11, maybe the 12. 2-yard pickup. Antoine Edwards, number 21, the free safety, who came over from Green Bay, makes the tackle. Replaced Brock Marion, who was the free safety in Miami since 1998. Marion now with the Lions.
And guess here's a great chance for Ben Roethlisberger to get out of the pocket, move around a little bit. He's going into shotgun. Watch the ball come out of his hands. You're going to be able to tell if it's slippery or not.
3rd and 4, 4 receivers in for Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger over the middle, tip, incomplete. Zach Thomas tipping the football.
Boy, still a dangerous pass in these conditions. And you're going to see what Ben Roethlisberger sees, and throwing it back across the formation without the opportunity to put that real zip on the ball because it's wet. Very dangerous.
There's Wes Welker, the Red Raider out of Texas Tech. Chris Gardocki in his own end zone. Beautiful spiraling punt. Welker backpedals and will start from the 33. Welker breaks it back, chopped down at the 44-yard line, a 52-yard punt, and a 7-yard return. Clint Freewalt with the special teams tackle. Welcome back, 3-0, our score. Don't forget, coming up, the Toyota halftime show. Talk about the Bucks and the Raiders, and also the baseball race here in October. 1st and 10 at the 44, or in October. And this is Henry just thrown to the ground. Joey Porter says, get out of here.
Wow. And that's something we haven't seen a lot of this year thus far, is Joey Porter in the backfield of an opposing offense. Joey Porter, a little slow start to the beginning of the season, and that's the Joey Porter that we know from years past. He gets a little reaction right there.
Loss of 2. 2nd and 12 at the 42. Feely lost it, picks it up, and just goes down. Ball just slipping out of A.J. Feely's hands. A loss of 7.
Yeah, and you know what? What can you do? It's not just A.J. Feely, it's anybody. You see him go to throw that thing, and it is just, it's that brutal. And you know what, Gus, that's why I don't understand, with all the run that's going on in this game, all the running plays, the play action and roll your quarterback out, get some bootleg action, it makes the throws that much easier.
2-minute warning. Back after this. Pittsburgh with the lead, 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Miami faced with the 3rd down and 19 at their own 35. Dolphins have 50 yards in total offense. The Steelers 125 yards. Three turnovers for the Dolphins, 2 interceptions by Feely, and 1 fumble. On 3rd and 19, here's Henry spinning, breaks a tackle, gets to the 39. Larry Foote making the tackle, and the Dolphins will have to punt it away. 1:48 to play in the first half. Back right after this.
Life got simple the day I plugged into the big brown machine. West Coast overnight, done. China, 48 hours, done. Brown picks it all up together and delivers it all on time. And with their global tracking system, I get the proof. It isn't that I'm not a trusting person. Yes, it is.
UPS delivers more packages on time than anyone. UPS. What can Brown do for you?
1:48 to play in the first half. Matt Turk punting it away, blocked. Flag on the play.
And guys, I think that
Ike Taylor blocks the punt.
And I think that's just going to be a hold. Somebody from the Dolphins was holding Ike Taylor. Oh, and it's a legal man downfield. Either way, Steelers get that ball back.
Ike Taylor blocking the punt. And now the Steelers have the football, I believe, at midfield. So it's been a comedy of errors for this Miami Dolphins team in the first half. 2 interceptions, 1 fumble, and now a block punt. 1st and 10 at the 50. Haynes in the game replacing Deuce Staley. Play action. Roethlisberger winds up, looking for Burris. Pick, no! Broken up by Antoine Edwards. Intended for Plexico Burris.
And Plexico Burris said might have some shots to the corner. And here's the route. You see him bend it inside and come back out. Roethlisberger puts it up a little high, and you see Plexico Burris reach back and knock that ball out. That's what Chris Chambers didn't do in the first half.
2nd and 10. Haynes spins. And Haynes gobbled up at the 47. Junior Seau making the tackle. Let's take a look at the punt block. Ike
Good
Taylor
snap,
getting in.
Good snap, good timing, and Ike Taylor just slipping his man inside. Man, and he was back there quick.
Brings up 3rd and 7 at the 47. Steelers need to go the Miami 40 for first down.
And this is a good time to find Antoine Randall in the middle of the field.
5 receivers in the game. Roethlisberger over the middle. Caught by Hines Ward. Looks like a 6-yard pickup, depending on where they spot it. And he could be close to a first down.
Hines Ward just running the hookup. Right at the first down marker, and I think they're going to have to go ahead and measure.
The 40-yard line is the first down marker. And here's a question for you, Brent. Which team, off to a fast start after missing the playoffs in 2003, will make the biggest splash in 04? The Falcons, the Silver Rush from Detroit, Jacksonville, or the Jets? Cast your vote at NFL.com. You like the Jets?
I do. I like somebody that can actually score. Nothing against the Jaguars. I like them. It's a great story this year. A lot of people thought that they'd be much improved. Jack Del Rio has that defense playing super. But for the long haul, I'm a Chad Pennington guy.
All right.
What about you? You're going to say you're Silver Rush in Detroit.
The Silver Rush from Detroit.
You know the only reason you guys got good?
Because all the 49ers are over there.
That's exactly right.
Well, there was one 49er that almost ruined the team as well.
No, you said that. I didn't say that. I think he came from the Redskins or the Raiders.
All right, 4th down and 1. Steelers going for it. Kreider and Haynes in the backfield. They dump it out. Hines Ward makes the catch. Beautifully done. Ward cutting, skipping, dancing down at the 21. A 20-yard gain for Hines Ward as Sam Madison brings him down. And the Steelers are in field goal range.
Boy, nice play action, little dump off to Hines Ward. Make Junior Seau make a decision. He decided to rush Roethlisberger. Look at that block downfield by Plexico Burress. That's what made that play. And one heck of a grab by Hines Ward right at his ankles. But watching the blocking downfield right there, Plexico Burress allowed for Hines to get an extra 15 yards right into field goal range.
Brings in Jeff Reed. 1 for 2 this evening. Good from 40 yards. Missed a 44-yarder. Chris Gardocki, the holder. His field goal from 40 yards out. And a whistle prior to the snap. And this will go against the Steelers. A false start against Pittsburgh. And Bill Cowher can't believe it. So they're going to put 7 seconds back on the clock if my lip reading is correct. Bill Levy, your referee this evening.
Either your lip reading or the 5 fingers on one hand and the 2 on the other. That kind of said 7 to me.
As they march it back.
Geez, and that's so tough, especially it's tough on a kicker's psyche when you make one and you have a penalty against your offense. You think, hey, I got to do it again.
Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS features doubleheader action. First, the Patriots take on the Bills, or the Raiders tangle with the Texans. And in the nightcap, the Broncos battle the Bucks, or the Jets get after the Dolphins. Check local listings beginning with Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer on the NFL Today. Dan Marino, how about this? We're driving to the stadium this evening, and we see Dan Marino Boulevard.
And you get all excited. You said, what would they have given him if he would have won a Super Bowl?
You're such a wise guy. 45-yard field goal attempt coming up for Reed. Gets it up. No good. This Miami Dolphins defense has been excellent in the first half. Sloppy game, 4 turnovers, only 3 points, but it has been entertaining.
When we talked about the pressure of having to do a do-over after you make the first one, Pittsburgh Steelers' mistake cost him 3 points. And when Coach Cowher gets that look on his face, man, I'm glad I'm up here. That is not a good look.
So with 2 seconds remaining in the half, the Dolphins will take a knee. And that is the end of the first half. 4 turnovers, 3 by Miami, 1 by the Steelers, 3-0 the score at the break. Now let's go to Steve Levy standing by in Bristol.
It's the Toyota halftime show. Week 3 in the NFL meant a bye for 4 teams already. Jets, Pats, Bills, and Panthers all get the early bye. Last March, the Bucs said bye to Warren Sapp. Well, tonight he had a chance to say hello as the Raiders East, that would be Tampa Bay, met the regular Raiders in the very familiar Black Hole of Oakland. And here we go, first quarter. Not a lot of scoring in this one. Charlie Garner would run up the sideline. That would lead to a Martin Gramatica field goal, made it 3-0. Where's Tyrone Wheatley? Watch this run. Wheatley refusing to go down. He would eventually be caught from behind. Eventually, a Sebastian Janikowski field goal made it 3-0. Second quarter, prior to a field goal, Rich Gannon in the pocket, steps up. He's going to get nailed head on. He'd leave the game. Gannon trying to make something out of nothing. Kerry Collins would enter the game. Brad Johnson to Bill Schrader. Wide open. What would that lead to? Not a touchdown. Yet another field goal from Gramatica made it 6-3. It'll be one more score. And, of course, it would be another field goal as well. 6-6 is the score in Oakland right now. They're in the final 2 minutes of that first half. Again, Kerry Collins is in at quarterback, replacing the injured Rich Gannon. Time now for something we like to call the fastest 3 minutes. Let's start with the Pack and the Colt, Peyton Manning. This was a wild game, especially in the first half. Brandon Stokely, 27 yards for the touchdown. Manning's 4th of 5 touchdowns in the first half alone. Brett Favre, the Donald driver. Edger and James would ice the game with a 1-yard touchdown run. Colts win in a shootout, 45-31. Eagles-Lions, Donovan McNabb to Terrell Owens. The Eagles roll. McNabb 356 yards through the air. Owens 107 receiving yards. Jaguars and Titans under 6 minutes left. Titans down by a point. Chris Brown picking his spots. 26 yards, touchdown. 2-point conversion failed. Make it 12-7. Jags get some help here. Little pass interference call on Lamont Thompson. 2 plays later, Fred Taylor from 1 yard out. Add the 2-point conversion. The Jags are 3-0. They've only scored 35 points. Cardinals and Falcons already in field goal range. Carl Williams end around, picks up the first down, but then fumbles. The Falcons recover. Trying to run out the clock, forget about it. Michael Vick on the move. He gets loose, 58 yards, a career-long Falcons win. Well, it was 6-3. Big day for Sean Alexander. Not such a big day for the 49ers. The Niners are shut out for the first time since 1977. Ouch. Saints and Rams under a minute to go. Rams trailing by 5. Mark Bulger up the middle, and he's in. 2-point conversion good. 3-point game. After a squib kick, Saints had good field position. John Carney ties it here in overtime. After a Rams punt, Carney does it again. The Saints win in overtime in St. Louis. Bears and Vikings. Big day for Culpepper and Moss. It ought to be. Chicago had 4 defensive starters, including Brian Urlacher, out of the lineup. 3-yard score there in the second quarter to Moss. 2-yard hookup in the fourth quarter. Culpepper throws for 360. Moss 119 yards receiving. The Vikes win. Chargers and Broncos. Third quarter. 4th and 9. Jake Plummer. Plenty of time. Ashley Lele for the 33-yard touchdown goes up and gets it. And the Broncos a winner. Ravens and Bengals. Jamal Lewis finally breaks free after a couple of subpar performances. Had a 75-yard touchdown run. 186 in the game. The Ravens win. Browns and Giants. Kurt Warner rolling, now running, and just gets in. The Giants win 27-10. Texans and Chiefs. Texans down 7. David Carr to Jabbar Gaffney. We're tied at 21. After the Chiefs punt, Chris Brown, 49 yards for the winner. The Texans win by 3. The Chiefs, amazingly, are 0-3.
This halftime show is presented by Toyota. Get the feeling.
Well, there's baseball on the line. Barry Bonds went big fly. Wasn't enough for the Giants to win. And the Red Sox ace was dealing against the Yanks.
Welcome back to the Toyota Halftime Show.
Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Levy at halftime in Miami. The Steelers lead the Dolphins 3-0. On an NFL Sunday, there was baseball news. It was revealed today that Barry Bonds had his random steroid test on Friday. Bonds said his reaction, "I'm glad this is finally happening. They'll get the results, and it will clear my name." As for the Giants, they trail the Dodgers by a game and a half in the West. And here is Barry, bottom of the third, tied at 2 against Jeff Weaver. Forget about it. Get out of town, and Barry always means it. How about 703 in his career? Most important today, gave the Giants a 3-2 lead. With the top of the 5th, tied at 3. Full count for Sean Green with the bases loaded. Brent Tomko walks him. Cesaris Torres comes in to score. Dodgers a 4-3 lead. Up 6-4, top of the 9th. Milton Bradley hits it deep to center. Marquise Grissom going back. Should have made the grab. Sean Green scores. The Dodgers go up. Barry left the game in the 9th, an apparent leg injury while running the bases, and they lose. As for the Cubs and Mets, Kerry Wood, who's done very well career against the Mets, not today with the bases loaded. Hit Jason Phillips to move a run in. Still looking at the bases loaded. Now he walks Gerald Williams. The Cubs were down 3-2, one last chance. Braden Looper on against Ben Greaves. Sammy went 0 for 12 in the series, and the Cubs lose 2 of 3, 2 very important games to the New York Mets. So here's your deal in the National League. The Cubs lead the Giants by a half game in the wild card. The Dodgers open up a 2.5 game lead over the Giants for the division title in the West. As for the American League, you might remember the Yankees and Red Sox going at it. Bottom of the first, 2 on for Boston. David Ortiz, little wall ball, the 2-run double off Kevin Brown. Brown had the kind of effort that would make you want to punch something. Trot Nixon, an RBI double. That made it 3-0 Boston in the bottom of the first. With Kurt Schilling going today, Kevin Brown would leave after just 2/3 of an inning. The Red Sox take 2 out of 3 in the series. The Angels and A's are going at it as we speak. Anaheim has a 4-2 lead as they play the top of the 7th. Jose Guillen suspended for the rest of the season. Whole lot of stories on that one to come out at a later date. Here's your deal in the American League up to the 2nd. The A's lead the Angels by 2 games in the AL West. Of course, in the American League East now, the Red Sox 3.5 game deficit to the Yankees. We'll update the game out west when we come back.
This halftime show is presented by Toyota. Get the feeling.
Hey, 2 NFL games tonight, both at halftime. Hey, we finally have a touchdown. Throw a party. Kerry Collins threw on the Ronald Curry for 19 yards in the score. And they have gone to halftime now in Oakland. The Raiders leading the Buccaneers by a score of 13-6. Again, we'll keep you posted on the second half action of that one. Throughout the second half of our game, the Steelers and the Dolphins. Gus and Brent are coming up. Second half action from soggy South FLA after this.
Welcome back as the Steelers lead the Dolphins 3-0 at halftime. Now, the start of the second half will be delayed because the grounds crew is on the infield trying to patch it together. And these guys are working oh so hard right now to make sure that the players have some safe footing once they get into the infield. Gus Johnson along with Brent Jones, and Brent, not a lot of scoring mistakes, but an exciting football game, and this is what the National Football League is about.
That's right. It's clearly been the most exciting low-scoring game that we've ever done, and so it is interesting to see both these teams, and clearly some great stories behind some of the play thus far this year. The Miami Dolphins trying to overcome the adversity of all the hurricanes early on in the season. A retired running back, which really left them high and dry. Wasn't really happy with the way that all went down with Ricky Williams, and clearly the injuries at the running back position. David Boston, their big wide receiver, going out. It's been a struggle. New offensive lineman. We talked 9 new starters. The Steelers, on the other hand, losing Tommy Maddox last week. Ben Roethlisberger, one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. And there's Tommy Maddox, as you see.
Tommy with some ligament damage in his right elbow, so he won't be allowed to even pick up a football for 6 weeks. And after that 6-week period, then he can start working out once again. So let's take a look at the highlights from the first half. Steelers and the Dolphins. Donald Lee with the fumble.
Right off the bat, we saw a lot of turnovers, and this was even before the field conditions got bad. Roethlisberger making a bad decision outside. Chris Chambers jogging on a route downfield and didn't go after the ball. And then, once again, A.J. Feely letting that ball go, slide out of his hands. We've seen a few missed field goals as well in the first half.
So 3-0 the score. If you're Dave Wannstedt, you have to be satisfied with where your team stands right now. The halftime statistics, 155 yards in total offense for the Steelers. Different story for Miami, only 54. And the turnover situation, 3 turnovers, 2 Feely interceptions, 1 fumble, also a blocked punt. So the score stands 3-0 Pittsburgh on top of Miami at the end of the first half, and these guys continue to work their hearts out. Back to Pro Player right after this.
Second half from Miami is just minutes away, and when they do start, the Steelers have a 3-0 lead over the Dolphins. Hi, second half action in Miami. Back to Gus and Brent.
Wow, all right, Steve. The Dolphins and Steelers haven't scored as many points. Only 3.
Nice little contrast.
But we've got a defensive battle in the elements. Steelers with the football to start the second half. Antoine Randall. 1 yard in his own end zone. Randall at the 20. And he gets all the way up to the 30. A 34-yard return. Arturo Freeman with the special teams tackle. All right, a look at the offensive leaders in the first half. Ben Roethlisberger, the numbers. Veron Haynes. We don't have an update on Deuce Staley. Deuce Staley started the game. Now he's back in the game, and in the second quarter, he was sent to the bench. I don't know if it was for an injury or if Coach Cowher just wanted to play some different players, Jerome Bettis and Haynes. But now Staley in the backfield, 1st and 10 at the 31. Here comes a blitz. Staley over the left side. Staley down the sideline, and Deuce Staley out of bounds. Plexico Burress with the nice block, a 15-yard gain for Deuce.
And you see the Steelers running left. Marvell Smith closes off the line on the left side, allowing Deuce Staley to have that quick corner. You get a quick corner, and you just have your running back run north and south. Solid job by the Steelers offensive line. And Gus, field conditions a little bit better right now. Dry ball. See if Roethlisberger's going to put it up.
3 receivers in now. 1st and 10 at the 46. Deuce Staley again. And Staley gets close to midfield. Jeff Scanino with the tackle. And Deuce Staley last week against Baltimore, 16 carries, 57 yards. And he came over from the Philadelphia Eagles, started only 4 games last year after holding out of training camp because of a contract dispute. He's been a little vocal in the papers about wanting to carry the rock.
Hey, you know what? You got to want guys that want the rock. And, of course, spent a lot of years with Jerome Bettis as well. He wants the rock, and that's part of a functional team. You want guys that want to shoulder the load.
Here's Staley again, and nowhere to go. Sammy Knight, the strong safety, comes up, makes a play. Jason Taylor getting pressure, and it's a loss of 2.
And you see Junior Seau and Sammy Knight in the backfield. Penetration, and that says to me the Dolphins are really focusing on the run. Clearly committing the safety up front, and you see Knight making the tackle. There's Junior, there's Jason Taylor, the whole crew. And at this point, you have to think, play action is still, Gus, the safest way to throw the ball. The shotgun straight drop back. Still a little dangerous.
Veron Haynes back in. Over the middle, and that ball incomplete. Roethlisberger intended for Plexico Burress. And the Steelers will trot it off the field.
And Ben Roethlisberger just having trouble getting a grip and throwing it downfield. Once again, another little Pittsburgh Steelers punt.
4th punt for the Steelers. Gardaki stands at the 32. Welker is at the 11. High end-over-end kick. Takes a bounce and keeps on going. Beautifully done by Chris Gardaki. And it's down at the 7-yard line. A 45-yard punt. 12:51 to go in the 3rd. Here come the Dolphins on offense.
ESPN Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. Saturn, people first. Nike and Rocky Mountain Gold Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 39.
Dolphins at their own 8-yard line. Leonard Henry following his blocks. And he may have gotten a yard on the play. 3-0 the score. Let's take a look at the offensive leaders. A.J. Feely, 3 of 8, 25 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Leonard Henry, 25 yards rushing in place of Lamar Gordon, who went out of the lineup because of a shoulder injury, and he will not return. Travis Minor not in the lineup as well. An ankle in the first game against Tennessee is sidelined him. 2nd and 9. Feely rolling underneath. Donald Lee with the catch, and he gets to the 16, a gain of 6. Troy Polamalu with the tackle.
And see, Gus, that's exactly what you've got to do. Everybody's thinking run. Both defenses are thinking heavy run. You see the flow by the Steelers linebacker all the way with that play fake. Boot your quarterback around, hit a tight end or a back in the backfield, high percentage pass. Hopefully keep those chains moving. That is the best play that either of these offenses can run right now.
3rd down and 3 at the 15. Feely up top, incomplete, flag on the play. Chad Scott will be called for holding. Marty Booker, the intended receiver, on the far side.
And clearly the contact downfield by Chad Scott. We talked about the focus.
Pass interference, number 30 defense. 1st down at the spot of the foul.
And first of all, the officials tonight have done an excellent job as we take another look.
Yeah, they were under a lot of stress too with all these weather conditions, and Scott right there turning around, getting his right arm on the left arm of Marty Booker, and they're calling it the point of emphasis this year. We've talked about contact after 5 yards all season. The officials have been very consistent with it. Done a nice job tonight.
23-yard penalty. Leonard Henry, and he gets decked. Holy mackerel. James Ferrier bringing the wood.
Wow. And that was bringing the wood. And you see Henry. And anytime your body, we talked about that earlier with Lamar Gordon, the shot that he took from Chris Hope. Ferrier delivers a blow as well. And whenever you change a player's momentum and his body position that violently, there is a shot behind it.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Feely sets up underneath, throws a strike. Is it complete? Is it complete? No signal. It must be a completion. That's Darius Thompson, who advances it to the 40-yard line.
And Gus, you know what? We did not hear a whistle. Now they're calling it back, where Thompson caught the ball.
And Bill Cowher has the flag ready. From this vantage point, it looks like he dropped the football. The ball hit the ground, rather.
And Gus, one of the things A.J. Feely told us, we've had some success in the 2-minute drill. You see him not huddling up right now. But prior to that, you see the replay, the bootleg action. What does that do? Everybody's thinking run. You get the linebackers going. You give your quarterback time. You have high percentage throws.
The ball did touch the ground. So we will allow them to figure it out while we go to commercial with the Steelers up 3-0. 3-0 Pittsburgh with the lead over Miami, and
the ruling on the field was catch. The receiver did get his hands underneath the football. Therefore, it is a completed pass. Pittsburgh will be charged their first time out.
What's the rule, Brent?
And Gus, I think, well, first of all, the call on the field was catch, so you have to have irrefutable evidence to overturn that call. You see Darius Thompson, he's going to have the ball, but right here in this next frame, you're going to see the ball on the ground. You can't tell if his arm's under that, and he's maintaining control. And so if there's nothing to overturn the call on the field, Gus, the call stands as is, and the officials did exactly what they should have done. Not according to that man, though.
So on 3rd down and 1.
And Gus, I think the Dolphins are going to come up maybe 6 inches to a foot short.
What do you do?
Boy, I think the way their defense is playing, I think you punt it right now. It's still too early to go for it. If it was 4th quarter.
Wow. I don't know. And Dave Wannstedt is going to punt the football.
You know what? Usually, I would disagree like the fans right here. But the last couple times they've done this, their defense has gotten a 3-and-out.
Timeout on the field. Maybe he'll rethink it. Back after this. Dave Wannstedt thought about it, and he's elected to go for it. On 4th down and inches, Miami is averaging 1.7 yards per rush, 35 yards rushing. So here we go, 4th down and inches. That ball loose. And let's see where they spot it.
I don't know if it's about the spot. He clearly fumbled it before the whistle blew, so it'd be where he picked up the fumble. And I don't know that he got it anyway, Gus. I didn't see a whole lot of forward momentum.
Progress was stopped before he fumbled. We're going to measure for a 1st down.
Okay, that was key right there. I didn't hear the whistle, but clearly Feely fumbled the ball backwards. Let's see the momentum. Boy, it depends on the mark. But I don't know if that whistle should have blown, Gus. I certainly wouldn't have blown the whistle there. His knee was not down. That ball got knocked out. Still a live play. And they stopped his progress. That was a quick whistle.
Oh, wow. He missed it by a lot.
And that's why I thought they should have punted. I know you felt strongly about going for it, but still, a lot of time left in this game.
Welcome back. Steelers defense holds on 4th down and inches. And the last game with no 1st half red zone possessions, Dallas and Detroit back in 2002. Now the Steelers take over at the Miami 47. The 3rd time Pittsburgh has started in Miami territory. Deuce Staley. And he stumbles and goes down at the 44. Junior Seau with the tackle. Now Steve Levy in Bristol.
Gus, thank you. Things are starting to heat up in Oakland. The Raiders had a 13-6 lead over Tampa. Kerry Collins in for the injured Rich Gannon. Hooks up with Jerry Porter. That led to a 27-yard Sebastian Janikowski field goal. 3rd field goal of the game. Brad Johnson is picked off by Phillip Buchanan going the other way. Oakland big.
All right, Steve. Roethlisberger finds Hines Ward at the 34. Stopped by Will Poole after a gain of 11. Hines Ward with a big catch at the end of the 1st half to set up the Steelers, but they were unable to capitalize on the field position.
A nice ball by Ben Roethlisberger to his big wideout. Nice tight spiral. I was watching Roethlisberger in warmups. Throws a great ball.
Ward with 5 catches for 59 yards. 1st and 10 at the 34. Roethlisberger looking down the field. In trouble! Dumps it. Incomplete.
And that
no flags on the play. Jeff Skanina, first man to him.
And Gus, I thought that was going to be grounding. And Ben Roethlisberger had to get out of the pocket. And that's tackle to tackle. And you know what? They're going to call it late. Yeah, he did not get out of the tackle box.
In the area.
Intentional grounding is the call.
Penalty will be enforced at the spot of the foul. Loss of down. 2nd down.
And you're going to see the coverage downfield by the Dolphins. Initially, Ben Roethlisberger has some time. Then the protection breaks down, and he's trying to throw it away. You see nobody in the area, still in the tackle box. And the officials doing a nice job of conferring and realizing that Roethlisberger did not make it out of the pocket and threw the late flag.
2nd down and 20. Here's the reverse. Antoine Randall out of bounds at the 40-yard line. About a 4-yard gain.
When we've seen this reverse before, we've seen the fake reverse and have little play action and Steelers quarterback set up, and he can either go downfield to the post or back to Randall. We might see that later on this quarter or in the 4th quarter as well.
Makes it 3rd down and 16 at the 40. They need to go to the 24 for 1st down. Ron Haynes in the lineup at tailback, standing next to Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger to the sideline. Hines Ward with the catch, and he is pushed out of bounds at the 32. Jimmy Wyrick there to force him out of bounds after a gain of 8.
And smart play by Wyrick. He was giving Hines Ward a little bit of a cushion. When you do that, you got to make sure you wrap up the first time. You can't let Hines Ward stiff arm you or get by you. Wyrick did a nice job coming in and making the tackle.
So that brings in Jeff Reed in to attempt a 51-yarder. It's his career-long 51 yards back on September 14th, 2003 against Kansas City.
And Gus, he's gonna have to get it up, and he's gonna have to drive it instead of kicking it too high like he was doing in warm-ups.
Gets it down, it's up, straight enough, and good. Reed now in his career 3 of 4 from 50 yards and out, and the Steelers take a 6-0 lead. The scoring drive for the Steelers, 6 plays, 14 yards. Jeff Reed with the 51-yard field goal, but remember, it was the decision by Coach Wannstedt to go for it on 4th and inches that turned out to be the difference maker for Pittsburgh on that drive, as their defense held, and they received the ball deep inside Miami territory. Reed sends it away. Wes Welker back deep. This one picked up rather out of bounds. Brian Gilmore wisely allows it to go out of bounds. So
By
the
rule,
Dolphins
the ball is placed at the 40-yard line. 1st down, Miami.
will get it at the 40. Now don't forget, CSI New York is TV's most watched new drama. Don't miss Gary Sinise and Milena Kanakaridis in a new episode Wednesday at 10, 9 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. A.J. Feely has struggled mightily this evening. Has the ball now at his own 40, 1st down. Leonard Henry running straight ahead. And the weather is bad here in Miami, but the Dolphins have had rushing problems all season. Against Tennessee, only 60 yards rushing. Week 1. Lamar Gordon, not a lot of room for him. Then Cincinnati, 25 yards rushing. They are dead last in the NFL in rushing. 35 yards rushing tonight. Lamar Gordon out of the lineup. Leonard Henry in the backfield right now. And that one incomplete. Joey Porter clobbering A.J. Feely.
Boy, blindside shot right in the back. Steelers blitz. And you better get that blocked up. And I think the back's got to be responsible for that off the play action. And you see how quick Joey Porter is in there, but Leonard Henry's got to do something to stop the flow of the blitz.
3rd down and 10 at the 40. They need to go to midfield for a 1st down. Feely dancing, rolling, finds Randy McMichael, and he's drilled. Oh, the Steelers are delivering blows. James Ferrier and Chris Hope.
The two guys that have had the shots of the game so far combined for that one on Randy McMichael, and Feely doing a nice job just to avoid the sack, but McMichael, boom, boom.
Matt Turk stands at the 25. Antoine Randall from the 15. And goes down at the 16. 45-yard punt, 1-yard return. With a trip to Super Bowl 19 on the line in Miami, Dan Marino delivered for the Dolphins. The quarterback threw for 421 yards and 4 touchdowns, leading Miami to its 45-28 rout of the Steelers and the Dolphins' last Super Bowl visit. Dan Marino, our colleague at CBS. When I saw Dan Marino Boulevard today, it was so amazing to me, because if you ever have a chance to sit and talk to Dan, he's the most regular of regular guys.
He is a good regular guy.
Just a nice dude. 1st and 10 at the 16. Staley. Marlon Greenwood with the tackle.
Boy, and this Dolphins defense continues to keep the Dolphins in. And, you know, let's talk for a second about Ricky Williams.
Okay, what do you think about Ricky?
I think Ricky Williams might have 8.5 million reasons to come back to Miami. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. Do you think the Dolphins would take him back?
Well, you know what? I think at this point they would. And the ruling against Ricky Williams here just the other day is he has to repay the Dolphins $8.5 million. I'm sure some of that money's been spent. It's the quickest way to a man's heart is back through his wallet.
2nd and 8. And a flag. Some movement on the offensive line.
And we've heard all these phone calls and stuff about Ricky this and Ricky that.
False start, number 80, offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
But it starts getting serious when they say you owe $8.5 million back to your club.
But they're also saying that he could file for bankruptcy and actually become a free agent.
Yeah, there's some lawyers that definitely speculating that. One of the things is I don't know if the NFL, in conjunction with the Dolphins, would allow that, and I'm sure that their lawyers are looking at it. But one thing for sure, in the next month or so, there's going to be more to that story.
2nd down and 13. At the 13. Staley looking for an opening, and he won't find one. Jason Taylor with the tackle.
And you do a Dolphins game, and Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas are everywhere. Jason Taylor's skin's looking especially nice tonight, don't you think? He said all his buddies have been teasing him about being the Neutrogena guy. That's what they call him. So he's been paying them off with free samples to lay off of them. He said it's sad to see a bunch of millionaires scrambling around looking for free product.
3rd down and 12 at the 14.
He does have nice skin, though.
He certainly does. 4 receivers in the game now for Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger hands it off to Haynes on the draw play, and he goes nowhere. Once again, it's Jason Taylor for a loss of 1. Jay Williams also.
He's going with a little mud pack look tonight. And you see, look at that shot delivered by Marvell Smith. And Jason Taylor able to maintain his footing to come back and make the play, and he ought to be fired up.
Gardocki 1 yard deep in his own end zone. Welker at the 42. This punt short. And it rolls, touched by the Dolphins. And luckily out of bounds. But instead of having the football at about the 50, the Dolphins now have it at the 40. I believe it's Wyrick that touches it.
Yeah, and you know, Wes Welker, when you have the ball short, you've got to be jumping up and down and screaming and yelling. Go crazy, he's too quiet. You got to be letting your guys know they have their back to the ball. You got to scream, yell, act like a caged animal to get your guys to know the ball's short and get out of the way. Get out of bounds, actually, is the safest thing to do.
Antoine Edwards kicked it going backwards. So instead of having it at midfield, the Dolphins now at the 40, still good field position on a regular day with a mediocre offense, but this offense here in Miami is a step below mediocre right now. That ball thrown, and Chambers with the catch, leans forward and gets to the 49. His first catch of the day, Chad Scott brings him down. Nice chuck by Feely.
Well, let's watch Chris Chambers. You see him do a good job getting over his knees and sliding out. Able to keep his feet, extends the ball. And this young man's got a lot of talent. We were on him early in the first quarter, thought he was jogging, didn't go up after an interception. Obviously frustration with this offense, and clearly at the wide receiver spot as well.
2nd down and 1. Henry lowers his shoulder, and he may have enough for first down. Larry Foote makes the tackle, but getting back to the Ricky Williams situation. Do you think that this Miami team, if Ricky were thinking about coming back and would like to kind of say I'm sorry and play for the Dolphins again, would they welcome him with open arms?
You know, I think they would. There'd be clearly a time where you'd have to repair some relationships in the way in which it happened. I'm sure a lot of the guys think that Ricky left them high and dry. And clearly he's got the drug issue to still deal with. That's going to be an issue. But I think the Dolphins would take him back.
First down and 10 at midfield. Feely to the sideline. McMichael catch out of bounds at the 40. A gain of 10. Now the Dolphins are starting to get their rhythm on offense with the short passes.
And you know, it was funny as we were talking to Randy McMichael, and he said, you know what? We were asking what routes he likes, and he says, you know, the flat route is really underrated because if I get it out there, I can run over guys. And you know, it's a great point. That flat route right there doesn't look spectacular, but 10 big yards, big tight end. It's clearly making an impact this year on this Dolphins offense. Keep feeding them.
Henry looking for a hole, and Leonard Henry ducks down at the 37. Travis Kershke with the tackle after gain of 3.
Still, your best opportunity is to throw that ball short. We haven't seen a screen from either team tonight. A lot of pressures on the quarterback. Screen would be a nice call now. Get the ball, work your tight ends, work the backs in the flat. High percentage passes are what you have to think of right now if you're the Miami Dolphins.
2nd and 7. Play action. Feely throwing. Incomplete. Feely with pressure intended for Chambers, and James Ferrier was right in his face.
And I wonder if A.J. Feely hit his hand on Ferrier's helmet. Let's watch his follow through. Watch his right arm. Clearly got a piece of it.
So that brings up 3rd and 7 at the 37. Dolphins need to go to the Pittsburgh 30 for a first down. Miami 1 of 7 on 3rd down conversions tonight. Chambers in motion. The handoff. Henry, first down. And the Dolphins catch the Steelers sleeping. A 12-yard gain by little Leonard Henry.
And what a gutsy call for the Dolphins on 3rd and 7, because if they get 3 yards, this stadium erupts. Watch the right side of the Dolphins line. Little fake reverse action. There's the angle. There's the lane. Nobody home for the Steelers, clearly putting pressure on A.J. Feely, thinking pass the whole way.
First down and 10 at the 25 for the Dolphins. Pittsburgh showing blitz. Here they come. Henry steps through the hole and crawls to the 21. A 4-yard gain. 37 seconds and counting to go in the 3rd quarter.
You know, I don't know if we've talked enough Leonard Henry, because he's been working hard tonight. Clearly some tough yards. He's grinding it out on the ground. Had that last big run. Been making wise decisions, hitting the holes when there are some. And you see 43 yards rushing tonight. The whole Dolphins team for the last 2 games has only had 45 rushing yards combined.
Leonard Henry did not see any action in 2003, was inactive for 13 games, dressed but did not play for 3 others. And all of a sudden, he is on center stage. Pittsburgh with the lead, but Miami in business. Watch Network. Gus Johnson, Brent Jones from Pro Players Stadium in Miami. As you take a look at the scoring by quarters. Dolphins have it 2nd and 7 at the Pittsburgh 22. Feely in the end zone. Incomplete. Dangerous throw in the double coverage intended for Chris Chambers.
Boy, and that ball sailed on A.J. Feely once again, and I just don't understand why they're not taking some shots at more high percentage passes. Little play action, but straight drop back. You're going to get pressure, and you see that ball's floating and sailing and into double coverage. And you got to be thinking touchdown down here, and I like that about the Dolphins play calling, but there's got to be a higher percentage pass that you can hit for 5, 6, 7 yards and put yourself in better position.
3rd and 7 at the 22. They need to go to the 15 for a first down. Feely to the sideline, caught. Looks like a first down here, and it is. Beautifully done. Marty Booker with the catch. A gain of 8. And this is the first time either team has been in the red zone today.
Boy, and Marty Booker just running a nice, solid out route. Nice. And you see it's right delivered. A.J. Feely puts it right on his gut. And that is a high percentage pass toward the sideline, off coverage against the Steelers.
1st and 10 at the Pittsburgh 14. Henry spins and is swarmed under at the 17-yard line. Aaron Smith there, along with Kimo von Oelhoffen, a loss of 2.
Boy, and obviously 2nd down and long, Gus, a very obvious passing situation. And what a great time it'd be for a little bit of screen. You gotta think the Steelers are going to bring some type of blitz right here. A lot of pressure tonight on A.J. Feely. And we've been talking about it, high percentage passes. You don't want to come away with 3. You're this far inside the red zone. You've got to think 6.
Feely. That one underthrown. Randy McMichael, the intended receiver, brings up 3rd down and 12 at the 16. Casey Hampton getting pressure from his nose guard position. And you're right, Brent. I don't think we've seen a screen from Miami all evening.
Boy, you know, and they had some success early with some of that bootleg action. Had some nice plays, and they haven't come back to it at all. And you just want to think high percentage. You forget because it's not raining, but the field conditions down there, it's still sloppy. This ball's still a little bit wet, and you just want to think about getting the ball in the hands of the backs, let them run, or the tight ends in this situation.
3rd down 12 at the 16. Chris Chambers. Feely. Incomplete. Intended for Marty Booker. So the Dolphins will be forced to attempt a field goal.
You know what? It's just too hard to throw the ball that far down the field for A.J. Feely. You're going to see the ball wobble and slide and go high. That's just because he can't get a good grip on it.
Nor does he have time to set his feet.
No, and you saw the blitz right there. Throw a screen.
But Alindo Mare this season 2 of 3 from 34 yards out. And it is good. The Dolphins get on the board at the 13:25 mark of the 4th quarter. 6-3 Pittsburgh.
ESPN Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Mazda. Always the soul of a sports car. Spider, listed on the American Stock Exchange. The United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. And UPS, global shipping you can count on. UPS, what can Brown do for you?
6-3, Miami finally getting on the board thanks to an Alindo Mare field goal. Now the Dolphins will send it away. Antoine Randall back deep inside his own 5. Line drive kick. And Randall 5 yards deep, brings it out of his own end zone. Randall reverses. Watch out. Antoine Randall out of bounds at the 36. Alindo Mare, the kicker, able to push him out of bounds. If not, see you later. (6-3) Pittsburgh. A lot of time left in the 4th quarter. Steelers have the football at their own 37. Roethlisberger going downfield for Burris. Incomplete. And Burris had to slow up on the route because of the footing in the infield. Now let's go to Steve Levy in Bristol.
Gus, thank you. The Raiders starting to really pour it on the Buccaneers now. Kerry Collins to Jerry Porter. What a grab. Porter taking the inside route. 5 catches, 84 yards for Porter, but it was Tyrone Wheatley able to punch it in from 2 yards away. as they open up quarter number 4. All Raiders, Gus.
All right. They are celebrating in Oakland.
Watch out for the Raiders.
Watch out for them. We have them next week in Houston. Draw play, Deuce Staley. And Staley gets to the 45. Gain of 8. A lot of Pittsburgh fans in attendance tonight, making the trip from the Steel Town.
They're pretty fired up about their offensive line. Deuce Staley right here. Let's watch Hartines and Faneca right there. Shield off their defensive men, allowing for the hole inside, and you get a nice shot of them getting movement. And there's some of the Steeler fans. We've been around the league, Gus, for several years now, and there's no fans that travel as much as the Pittsburgh Steeler fans. They have got to be the best.
3rd down 3 at the 44. Steelers move in the pocket, and this one will go nowhere. Roethlisberger taken down. Jeff Skanina getting to him first, and that's the first sack of the evening for the Dolphins.
Boy, when you look at this Miami defense, you see a great combination of secondary coverage down the field. There's been a lot of times where Ben Roethlisberger hasn't had an open receiver, and also the push of the interior front 4, getting a lot of pressure. A defensive line collapsing the pocket. Ben Roethlisberger being forced to step out and try to step up and get some yards running. Nobody home.
Gardocki from the 27, flag on the play. Beautiful punt, sends Welker back to his own 7. And Welker is wrapped up and taken down at the 15. Mike Schneck, the long snapper, with the tackle. But there is a flag. And it will go against the Steelers. Another false start.
Illegal formation, kicking team. Number 81 was off the line of scrimmage. Only 6 men were on the line. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So Dave Wannstedt will allow the Steelers to kick it again.
I would just hate to commit a penalty if I was played for the Steelers. You do not want to go to the sideline. But, man, he's always smiling when he's talking to us.
Yeah, that maniacal smile, like he could squeeze your head off with one look.
Here's the picture of intensity right there.
Coach Bill Cowher, 13th year. Can you believe it? 13 years for the coach. Has the NFL's longest active coaching tenure with one team. Gardocki again. This one off the side of his foot. Welker comes up to field it. He's got to pick it up. Oh, and he doesn't. And that ball is downed at the 5, a 58-yard punt.
We're going to go to work tonight. Believe that.
Shake, let it go. Shake, let it go. For real. Shake that boy, let it go.
Everybody going to work right now. The Dolphins need to go to work on offense with the football at their own 6. Feely out of the pocket, throws incomplete, intended for Doug Eastlick. Doug Eastlick, rookie out of Virginia Tech, made this team as an undrafted free agent.
You just get the feeling sometimes that the Dolphins aren't getting any breaks whatsoever.
Yes.
This whole season. Holy cow.
And it's only week 3.
Jeez. And played against Dave Wannstedt teams over the years, have so much respect for him, but there's only so much a head coach can do when you have it all crumbling around beside you.
2nd and 10 at the 6. Fumble on the snap. And I believe Feely gets on it. Yes, he does.
That's just what we're talking about.
Or somebody did. And A.J. Feely told us that Seth McKinney, his center, sweats so much during the game that when he sticks his hand underneath to take the snap, quite often it gets even slipperier.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, that's a terrible story.
Where are you going with this
story?
thing?
I mean,
jeez.
Basically, Seth McKinney has a sweaty butt.
He said the only time it gets bad is when he licks his fingers.
Feely, incomplete. James Ferrier had a touchdown.
Yes, he did. And we talked about high percentage passes, and we haven't seen a lot. We also talked about the team that made, the quarterback that made the least amount of mistakes. Holy cow.
Clark Hagens with the hit on Feely.
And it was a huge hit, but I don't know where A.J. was throwing that ball, besides right into James Ferrier's hands.
So Matt Turk running out of the back of his own end zone, gets off an end-over-ender. Antoine Randall from the 45, hopping through the hole, and he's downed at the 36. A 39-yard punt and a 9-yard return, but a penalty on the play.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, kicking team number 33, blocking a player out of bounds. 15-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
That's Russell Stuyvesant. Called for the penalty. 10:24 to play in the fourth. 6-3 Steelers.
Hey guys, we talked about committing a penalty and then going to sidelines. Watch Russell Stuyvesant. Here's Coach Cowher. That's a great strategy. Look, don't turn around and let him know that you hear him. At least while you're on the team, it's a good strategy.
Steelers with the ball now at their own 39. Deuce Staley in the game. Roethlisberger finds Hines Ward. Hines dives forward and gets to the 42. Zach Thomas trips him up. Log on to NFL.com each week and see what Shannon Sharp, Phil Simms, Boomer Esiason, and all of the other analysts have to say. It's only at NFL.com or at NFL on AOL. 10 minutes to play in the fourth. 6-3. Steelers with the lead and the ball. 2nd and 7 at the 42. Deuce Staley, flag on the play. Jason Taylor brings him down from behind.
The Steelers had a couple guys in motion.
Illegal shift. 2 men moving prior to the snap and not resetting. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
And it was the battery in the backfield. Deuce Staley as well as Dan Kreider.
One of the Steelers' penalties continue to push him back. And
98 yards in penalties for the Steelers. Wow. Second and 12 at the 37. Pittsburgh has to go to their own 48. Make it 49 for a first down. Over the middle. Incomplete. And the safety, instead of going for the ball, Antoine Edwards tried to deliver a blow, and that could have been an interception.
Boy, that looked from here, it looked like a gimme. Let's watch Antoine Edwards, number 21. Look, he's back deep. I don't know what he was looking at. Oh, that goes right by his right shoulder pad. That's the old saying, play the ball, not the man.
3rd and 12. Roethlisberger scrambling out of the pocket, throwing across the middle. Caught! Burris at the 45. And if you don't know,
Plexico. That was a pressure toss by the Rook. Scrambling out of the pocket. Let's see the protection. There's his lane. Sees the pressure. Steps out to the right. There's the throw. In between 3 Dolphin defenders. Over a linebacker and between 2 safeties. That is a big-time toss right there.
A gain of 18. 1st and 10 at the Miami 45. Here comes the blitz. Staley breaks the tackle in the backfield and gets to the line of scrimmage. Dario Romero, first man to him. It's a loss of 1.
Let's get a little Junior Seau. Watch number 55. Bottom of your screen on the blitz. Nobody times it better than Junior.
Looked like it was blocked in the back as well.
Creating havoc.
Coach Dave Wanstead said Junior has looked the best that he's looked in the last 3 years this season. 2nd and 11 at the 46. Staley over the left side now. And Deuce lowers his shoulder and gets to the 39. Zach Thomas with the tackle after a 7-yard pickup. Busy day for Steve Levy in Bristol. Steve.
All right, Gus, thanks. Hey, the Bucs trying to make this at least respectable, if not coming back. And a special moment for Tim Brown in his return to Oakland. His 100th career touchdown catch, tied for 3rd on the all-time list with Steve Largent. He did miss the 2-point conversion. Gus and Brown.
All right, Tim Brown going back to Oakland. 3rd down and 4 now for the Steelers. At the Miami 39, Roethlisberger out of a gun. Big Ben with time over the middle, caught Hines Ward. Oh, Hines Ward down at the 19. A 20-yard gain for the heart and soul of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Going one-on-one versus Patrick Surtain. Let's watch old number 86 right here. Oh, Surtain just slips down on the infield. That's what it was. And Hines Ward running a nice little crossing route, high percentage pass. And look at how important Hines Ward has been to this offense this year. Almost 65% of the total receiving yards. Hines Ward's been responsible.
7 catches, 82 yards for Hines. First time the Steelers have been in the red zone tonight. Looking up top for Ward, incomplete, flag on the play. And this will go against Miami.
Yeah, I think Sam Madison had him after the 5-yard chuck zone. And he could have held him actually prior.
Pass, holding, number 29 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Sam Madison pleading his case.
And Gus, we're not going to be able to see it from this angle, but Sam Madison clearly had a hold on Hines Ward. You see it right there, grabbing jersey. You see it right around the hip. And, you know, I'm still shaking my head over Antoine Edwards going for the hit on that potential easy interception.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 29 defense.
Boy,
at the distance to the goal,
Gus,
automatic first down.
Sam Madison has got to control himself because this defense could still hold the Steelers to a field goal. And Sam Madison, he's an intense player, but he's been known to lose his cool. Screamed last week on the sideline at A.J. Feely. Got to keep your composure when you play this game. You don't want to hurt your team because of something, a mistake that you did. You're going to sit and scream and argue with the ref. You think they're going to put the flag back in their pocket?
Got to keep it cool. Deuce Staley now in the backfield, 1st and goal at the 7. They fake the pitch. Roethlisberger with time, dances out of the pocket, and touchdown, Hines Ward.
Wow.
What a catch by Hines Ward.
And Gus, we expect it from Hines, but watch the cool composure of Ben Roethlisberger. Stays in, throws it where only his receiver gets it or nobody.
Wow.
What a big-time catch.
Was he juggling that ball going out of bounds?
I'm not so sure that he wasn't. I'd imagine Dave Wanstad's going to challenge this call because I don't know if he was juggling it, Gus, but it looked like Hines repositioned the ball. And one heck of a grab, needless to say.
He had control.
Boy, and you see his one arm, the ball slid up just a little bit, and he held it with that left arm.
And now the referee is over at the monitor.
And now we've been through this for several years. Remember, the call on the field was touchdown. So in order for that call to be overruled, we have to have irrefutable evidence that that ball was moving or was juggled. There it is. Boy, you see him transfer the ball, and I don't know if that's going to be ruled possession, maintaining possession through the catch. Because when he was transferring the ball, he was also rolling out of bounds. So if he would have just kept it in his left arm there in one hand, but you saw him roll it over to his right arm. And while he was doing that, he was sliding out of bounds. Now the rule is you gotta maintain possession throughout the act of catching the ball. And they're gonna have to decide whether he actually had possession.
And this is the sole look we have on the catch.
And right there, it's there, and you see the ball rolling over the other side. Now let's see the ball right there, left arm. See it hit the ground right there.
Football hit the ground?
Yeah, now see right there, the ball pops up just a tiny bit right here, and that's when he starts transferring it to his right arm. You see to grab it and hold it and roll over? That's a tough call. It's a heck of a grab. I just think by the way that the rule stands that they're gonna call that ball moving.
After reviewing the play, the receiver controlled the ball on his chest, was down inbounds. It is a touchdown.
Okay.
Miami will be charged their second timeout.
So they ruled that his left hand, he had it while he was down, and he was just completing the act of the catch, and that was right on the fringes, partner.
Wow.
And remember, one of the things that really helped here was that it was ruled a touchdown. So it's tough to go back. That's as tight as an angle as you can have on the call. He clearly acted like he caught it.
Jeff Reed in to attempt the extra point. It's good. And the Steelers on the road take a 13-3 lead.
Man, was that an unbelievable catch and throw. How about the composure by Ben Roethlisberger? This young man is coming of age with the elements going against this defense, and he's really stepped it up here in the second half.
Now Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS puts on a big-time doubleheader. First, Matt Jones and the Razorbacks get after Chris Leak and the Gators. Then Nick Saban unleashes the Bayou Bengals on David Green and the Georgia Bulldogs. The Home Depot SEC on CBS. Ben Roethlisberger didn't play in the SEC or the Big Ten or the ACC or the Pac-10 or the Big 12. He played in the tiny Mid-America Conference, but it's really not that tiny anymore with teams like Marshall, Byron Leftwich's alma mater, as well as Chad Pennington's alma mater. Roethlisberger playing at Miami of Ohio. Some pretty good quarterbacks coming out of this conference.
The Big Mac.
Central Michigan, Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Toledo.
It's pretty impressive.
Akron
for a small conference.
Marshall.
And you got to love the way that this young man has bounced back from that first interception. You see that sense of then 12 of 21 in this weather, a touchdown, no interceptions. That has been handling and managing the offense.
Welker back deep. Starts from the 11. And Welker still running. Goes down at the 30. Fumble on the play. And the Dolphins hold on. All right, let's go around the NFL Week 3. Take a look at some scores. Jacksonville winning on the road, second time they've won on the road this year. They improved to 3-0 under Jack Del Rio with some impressive victories at Tennessee, at home against Denver, and they won at Buffalo Week 1. Baltimore clobbering Cincinnati on the road. Philly all over Detroit. Houston winning at Kansas City. Dick Vermeil's team 0-3. Giants get their second win under Tom Coughlin. And Minnesota defeats Chicago at home. So it's another timeout called. Each team with one. Pittsburgh calling a timeout. Here's another look at the scoreboard. Arizona falling to Atlanta.
And it wasn't even raining there.
It was a dome. Denver beating San Diego 23-13. And your former team, the San Francisco 49ers, Brent, struggling.
Yeah,
Seattle.
They don't resemble our former team.
You got to go back and coach that team or own that team.
Hey, they need something, that's for sure. It's embarrassing.
New Orleans beating St. Louis on the road.
That was a big win for the Saints.
Steelers fans in attendance, representing their football club. First down and 10 at the 29. Feely, oh, he's drilled. Deshae Townsend and A.J. Feely is down. The corner blitz. A.J. Feely has had a tough night.
Boy, right out the slot receiver, and A.J. Feely never saw it coming. And great explosiveness by Deshae Townsend and driving through the quarterback. And look at that, ball is in midair and it lands right back in Feely's chest, because I can't believe he hung on to that thing.
A loss of 7. Second sack of the night for the Steelers.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 77 offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Gus, let's watch this regular speed. Watch, see if you can see the ball. Wow.
Steelers had 2 sacks last week against the Ravens. Only 35 sacks last season. The lowest in the Bill Cowher era. And remember, back in 2001 and 2002, they had 55 and 50 to lead the league. Second and 21. Feely over the middle and wide open. Thompson down to the 45. Darius Thompson with a gain of 36.
Pick up the blitz this time, keep the back in to block. You see the tackle turn out. Feely able to step up into the pocket, find Darius Thompson over the middle of the field. Big play.
Feely again to the sideline. That ball hanging in the air, and it's caught at the 40 by Chris Chambers, a 5-yard gain. Chad Scott with the tackle, and just like that, the Dolphins are down the field.
You know, the Steelers have struggled over the last couple years in their nickel situations, and the Dolphins running a hurry-up offense right now, 2-minute drill.
Underneath, Randy McMichael, great read by Feely. 11-yard pickup. Jerry Porter and Chris Hope combining on the tackle.
And you know, when your offense struggles, I'm surprised the Dolphins hadn't gone to this a little earlier. Like I said, Feely told us they've had some success in the 2-minute drill this year, and if things are a little stale, nothing to lose.
First down. Feely knocked out of his hand. That's a live football. But somehow Miami and the Steelers recover. Joey Porter coming from the right side with the sack. And the Steelers force another turnover.
And let's watch if A.J. Feely threw that ball. I don't think his arm started forward. That ball looked like it was hit out of his hand as his arm was coming back.
James Ferrier recovering the football. Joey Porter stripping it out of Feely's hand. Feely on the sideline saying that his arm was coming forward. I didn't see it that way. Here's another look.
Boy, that's, I mean, it's so close, and it's tough even to tell on replay. Once that arm starts in the forward motion, the quarterback is in the act of throwing the ball. Now you see him take that big windup, and that ball, is it out before his hand started moving forward, Gus? Man, that is a tough one. This will be a great angle right here. Yeah, you know what, Gus? I think it was still coming up. I don't think his arm was going forward, but it's tough to tell sometimes with those quarterbacks that kind of got that long arm delivery, because at what point is the arm going back and up, and what point is it going forward?
Dave Wannstedt challenging this play.
Remember, the ruling on the field was a fumble. certainly wasn't obvious that his arm was moving forward. And it's at what point do you determine forward? Now his arm's going back right there. Nah. You know what? There's that rule, and Jerry Seaman, we met with him in New York several years back, spent 10 hours with him that day, and he talked about the open palm rule.
After reviewing the play, the quarterback's arm was hit and the ball came out before his arm started forward. It is a fumble. Miami will be charged their third timeout.
And Gus, going back to spending that time with Jerry Seaman, the ball was out of his hand before the hand started moving forward. And that's exactly what they ruled on the field, and I think that was the proper call. It was close for A.J. Feely.
So now Miami not only turning the ball over for the 4th time tonight, they are now out of timeouts with 4:01 to play.
And now you're going to see the Steelers keep the ball on the ground and just cue clock.
Here's Deuce Staley. And he stopped by Marlon Greenwood. The Miami Dolphins 0-2 for the first time since '88. They are in jeopardy of falling to 0-3 for the first time since 1969. We talked to Zach Thomas, and Zach told us that he hadn't been 0-2 ever, even going back to Pop Warner.
You said 0-2 felt like 0-10. You can only imagine what 0-3 is going to feel like around here.
And next week, the New York Jets. Here's the handoff. Staley breaks it open big. Down the sideline. Deuce on the loose. Out of bounds at the 22. Antoine Edwards pushing him out of bounds.
For all intents and purposes, that's it. The Dolphins with no timeouts left. And let's watch the left side of this Pittsburgh Steeler line. They've been running left and having success all night. You see the lane created for Deuce Staley. Little guard kick out. Marvell Smith at tackle. Sealing off his man. Faneca doing a great job. Jeff Hartines. And the rest is up to Deuce Staley.
That is the longest rush for the Steelers this year. Prior to that, it was 16 yards. Staley again with running room. Deuce Staley closing in on 100 yards. Picks up 11. 38 yards on the last run, 11 yards there. 22 carries, 101 yards for Deuce. And when you start 0-3, the streak may be in jeopardy, finishing at or above 500 Miami, 15 consecutive seasons.
Yeah, and you know, you look at Dave Wanstead, and like I said, I've admired him so much over the years. And sometimes the things, the injuries, the situations, the Ricky Williams retiring, some things are out of your control.
Jerome Bettis in the game now. And you know, a lot of people
Full start, number 84.
want to blame Dave Wanstead
First down.
for everything that's taken place. But come on. You know, your best player who your entire offense is built around. You got a great defense, a ball control offense with a terrific running back. That means you protect A.J. Feely or a Jay Fiedler in the passing game. He decides not to play prior to the beginning of training camp.
Yeah. I mean, then you have David Boston, big free agent signee, blow out his knee without contact.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do is right.
Bettis. Jerome Bettis.
You know, on the other side of the ball, you got to look at this Pittsburgh Steeler defense. Clark Haggans, and there's the smiling coach. We hadn't seen that one all night. He knows it. The defense is looking good. Ben Roethlisberger, I think a stellar outing considering the conditions.
Steelers have Cincinnati next week at home. They're 2 minutes away from their second win of the year. Pittsburgh with a 13-3 lead, 2 minutes remaining. We'd like to thank the Miami Dolphins for being so accommodating throughout this natural disaster, Hurricane Gene. There's Harvey Green, the senior vice president of media here in Miami. Just a great gentleman and professional. We'd also like to thank our entire crew at CBS Sports, from graphics to tape to camera to the men and women that are holding the microphones on the field for really being tough-minded and battling the elements. Jerome Bettis running the ball. Our producer, Jim Rickoff, our director, Mark Grant, bringing you all the great shots this evening as the Pittsburgh Steelers are in command of this game. Miami can no longer stop the clock with 1:38 to go. They're out of timeouts.
Gus, and I think the NFL did a great job in conjunction with the Dolphins in determining when and the exact time was we could play this game and have it best for the fans here. And clearly their thoughts and prayers are going out to the people of Florida. But the game had to be played, and I think the league did a great job of respecting the hurricane and the situations going on.
Bettis running again on 3rd and 11. And let's go to Bristol, Connecticut once again for another update with Steve Levy.
Gus, thank you. Updating the other game that's going on. Less than 3.5 to play in the 4th quarter. The Raiders look to go to 2-1, up 30-12 over the Bucs. Tampa Bay has the football, but certainly look like they'll fall to 0-3. That game, the conclusion on ESPN right now. That'll be immediately followed by SportsCenter. Gus and Brent, back to you.
All right, Steve. So Norv Turner will pick up his 2nd win as the head coach in Oakland. Remember, he was the offensive coordinator and assistant head coach in Miami the last 2 seasons. Bettis. And he is stopped on 4th down and 8. So the Miami offense will come back onto the field. And I was listening to the radio, Brent, and some callers were complaining because they thought that the National Football League as well as the Dolphins were a little insensitive as Roethlisberger.
And we talked about keeping an eye on Ben Roethlisberger. Gus made some great throws, and you know what? The game was going to be played tonight or tomorrow night. I think the league made the assessment alongside of the Dolphins and gave everybody a chance to come out. It would have been tough having it tomorrow night as well, and the league understood that, and I think made the correct decision to have the game tonight. And what a game it was for the rookie Ben Roethlisberger.
Randy McMichael with the grab, and he gets him 25. But some fans and basically callers into some of the talk shows on the radio were a little disappointed and felt that the league was insensitive about what has transpired here, playing a football game in the midst of a natural disaster when people lost power in their homes. Sometimes people even lost their homes. But on the flip side, having an opportunity to take a break, a 3-hour break from all of the madness that has taken place down here, is a nice thing as well.
You know what, I agree. And like I said, whether it was tonight or tomorrow night, it really wasn't going to make a difference. And I think the Dolphins felt like moving the day would have taken away from a lot of their regular fans, and that they felt it was best, along with the league, to have it tonight. And I think it was the proper decision.
Here's Feely over the middle, and that should do it. Final score, 13-3. Pittsburgh over Miami. The Steelers improved to 2-1. Miami 0-3 for the first time since 1969. For Brent Jones, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long from Pro Player Stadium. You've been watching the National Football League on CBS Sports.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.